It begins by showing us a struggle, by having a man choke a lady on the ground. He tells her she saw something and demands to know what happened. This tense moment is quickly replaced with upbeat music to initiate our story. During the opening credits, we see 3 cars riding along a road. The music we hear isn't just for us, it's playing in one of those cars. The lady in the passenger seat, Tracy, turns it off. While claiming it's appropriate for the environment they are currently in, she says it's not to everyone's liking. There are, after all, 2 other people riding with the driver, Jack. Once she gets some remarks from him, she has to lie that it's the best music. Then we switch to another car to introduce 3 different characters. Alex drives with Sam by his side. The latter's girlfriend, Charlotte, is in the back seat. The final car has 2 girls riding in it. We wonder where they're all going. The environment certainly appears refreshing. Back in the first car, Lucas starts using a bottle as his toilet. The 2 up front disapprove of this ugly action. That prompts him to share some more ugly news with them, that it's his 3rd time doing it. They just learned about it now. Eventually, after we get somewhat comfortable with knowing who our characters are, they all arrive at their destination. Out of their cars now, Jack approaches another car that was there before all of them arrived. A lady is sleeping there, Ella, who he calls out to. Since he doesn't get an answer, he opens the door to start removing the coat that's covering her. This causes Ella to scream, scaring the man to the ground. Soon another man comes out from the huge cabin nearby, asking them if everything is okay. He is Noah, the boyfriend of Ella. The couple was first to arrive. This concludes our introduction to an abundant set of 10 people. Following this, 4 of the girls enter the cabin and love what they see. Their positive feelings toward it are hard to argue with, for it has a splendid interior. There is a tree to go with the house design in the middle of the living room. Many of the walls are made from thick lumber. Plus, there is a stone fireplace. It's certainly a nice place to escape to. There is even a bear head on the wall. The only problem is that it's empty. The group is supposed to make a reservation, with Tracy calling out to anyone that might be there, but she doesn't get an answer. Outside, Alex tries to use the gas pump to fill his prized car up with Sam. He can't get it to work. Noah appears out of nowhere to tell them it requires a key. When Sam leaves their company, he shows that he finds Noah strange due to the latter's sudden creepy appearance. He enters another car to try starting it, yet it doesn't work for some reason. Back at the cabin, Tracy looks at unfinished plates of food. Continuing to call out to anyone, she doesn't get a response. She then looks out the window to see a cup with some gloves on a platform. These left behind things are starting to become strange. Soon Ella surprises her from behind. She asks her if Jack knows she's pregnant. Tracy is surprised she can tell. We learn the reason is that Ella is almost a registered nurse. Returning to her question, Tracy says she is waiting for the right time to tell Jack. However, the primary concern is not her pregnancy. The emptiness of the cabin is what Tracy's mind is occupied with. Upon leaving it, they get asked if they checked in. Tracy tells them the situation. Jack assumes they all must have gone on a hike. Ella thinks that proposition is weird, because at least one person would have stayed. Tracy adds that a lady's purse is in there, and something like that just does not happen. She also mentions the food she saw, which makes Lucas say he is somewhat worried now. At that moment, Sam asks where Charlotte is. He gets told she is in the washroom, so he goes to check on her. Since the group is alert about this issue, Jack advises they stay calm. He shifts his opinion to a more extreme example that might explain the emptiness. He says there could have been a fire emergency somewhere. That prompted all the people from this cabin to go help. But Lucas mentions not seeing any emergency vehicles coming toward them on the road. Jack counters by saying they could have gone in the opposite direction because there's a town that way. We find out no one has phone service in this secluded area. Noah doesn't even own a phone. Shortly after, they go their separate ways to start collecting information to help them deal with this unsettling situation. In the washroom, Sam looks for Charlotte. Not finding her there, he resorts to looking under the stalls. One of them contains shoes, as if the person who was sitting there just suddenly vanished. Sam reaches out to them, and Charlotte surprises him by entering. It causes him to slam his head against the counter behind him. The man is glad she is there, because he thought she could have melted. That only makes her laugh. Sam goes to the kitchen to get some cleaning supplies to clean up the mess in the washroom. Opening a cabinet door, he collects what he came for. Unfortunately, he doesn't see the words, "Help me," that are written there. The next scene has Tracy entering another cabin with Jack. Lucas and Amelia enter yet another one, where the water is running from the faucet. Amelia turns it off. Both of these new places seem empty too. Lucas touches the fireplace, which prompts him to think there was a fire there recently. Then Jack peeks into a room to see what's there. He should have entered, due to there being the words, "Don't blink," written on the mirror. As the other two search, they walk into the washroom, seeing the bathtub is partially filled with water. Lucas thinks no one has entered it. Amelia asks the sensible question of why someone would fill it with water without using it. He can't answer that one. After that, we observe Alex and Claire's expedition. They see the lake, which is frozen. Claire comments on how it's too late in the season for it to be like that. Back to the couple, Tracy finds a milk bottle for a baby. Shortly after, she anxiously calls for Jack to come to her. Once he does, they look above to see a rope placed for hanging someone. This causes the levels of worry to rise. Claire thinks she sees a boat in the icy lake, so she takes out her binoculars to check. What she sees is a fishing pole without a fisherman. The lady reasons that the ice must have materialized quickly to trap the boat. Looking further, she sees there are no birds anywhere. Adding to that, Alex says he hasn't seen any insects either. Regarding insects, Claire says they could just be in a larval stage during this time. She starts digging to try to prove what she means. However, after digging in the dirt for several seconds, nothing is there. No insects and no birds is certainly bizarre. The only life that surrounds them belongs to a different kingdom, plants. Afterward, they all gather at the main cabin. They learn that none of them have found anyone. Soon Alex joins them with Claire. Alex's attitude contrasts with everyone else's, in that he wants to leave immediately. The information he acquired with Claire is the most unsettling. No animals existing is enough to leave the place. He would rather be anywhere else. Jack has to remind him his car has no gas. Despite that, Sam and Charlotte sit in the car. The man doesn't care about not having gas. The trouble at their location is worse than that. To his dismay, his car covers just a few meters until it stops. Lucas remarks on his failure, causing Alex to become aggressive. He starts rounding on Lucas, but the others stop him. The group starts talking about how much gas their cars contain. None of them have much. Alex gets the idea to break the gas pumps to collect the gas that way. Noah tells him pumps don't work like that. The gas exists underground, therefore without the pumps, it can't be accessed. The last option gets proposed by Sam, that they should collect the gas from all the cars to put it into one. At that point, the most opposing opinion gets presented by Jack. He thinks they should not leave. Alex has to remind him that all the animals left. If that's not a reason to flee, what is? Jack says he doesn't want them to run out of gas in the middle of the road at night. He also mentions that this place at least has food, water, and a place to stay. When they settle down, Jack tries asking Tracy if she saw a phone. They then quickly discover she is not there. The panic recently subsided, only to become fresh again. Now they have the task of looking for the missing lady. The next scene has Sam using a hose to extract gas from a car. We learn they are not getting as much fuel as they need. Due to this, Sam doesn't know whether leaving is better than staying. He thinks it could be a crazy man who is taking everyone's life. Of course, that doesn't explain the missing animal. Alex wishes Sam was correct. A crazy man is someone he thinks he could beat. Yet their situation is more sinister. He wants to know if his friend is with him. Sam says he is. After that, the rest of the group comes to them, hearing the frightened scream of Ella in a few seconds. They all come to her to learn that Noah is gone. He vanished when she had her eyes off him for a short time. This prompts Jack to tell everyone to go inside. Since Alex tells him they need to leave, Jack gets aggressive with the man. He's not leaving without Tracy, so the group enters. Inside, Sam asks what they know of their circumstance. They go over the obvious, until Claire mentions the more unnerving aspects, like the non-existence of animals. Sam wants to know what could cause all that. The gang tries to brainstorm, but the hypothesis of a disaster doesn't make sense, mainly due to Tracy's and Noah's disappearances. Alex sticks to his plan of leaving the place. They have half a tank of gas. That's not enough to go home, yet Alex says it's enough to get away from this place. Jack decides they should vote for leaving versus staying. The votes end up being in favor of staying. Coming to him, Alex wants Jack to know this is a mistake. Jack can only hope the man is wrong. He also starts taking command, telling the group they should keep the doors closed, along with the windows. More importantly is that they shouldn't take their eyes off each other. Later, we see how two of the group members pass the time in this ordeal. Lucas plays cards with Amelia. The girl gets the idea to start removing her clothes, to make it more fun. When Lucas ducks under the counter to remove something of his, he seems to be gone longer than he should be. Amelia grows impatient, so she peeks to see that he's not there. This terrifies her, to the point of the girl falling off her chair. The rest of the group comes over to her to learn what happened. This prompts Alex to run to his car, where he collects a gun. What he's going to do with it is uncertain. He tells Jack he feels better having it on him. Additionally, he tells him everything that happens there is his fault, because Alex wanted to leave. Upon returning to the cabin, Jack tells Sam that he thinks there might be doors or panels that could suck someone inside quickly. Of course, Sam instantly reminds him of the animal. His guess does not cover their absence. Then unexpectedly, Amelia holds a book and starts saying, "This is retribution." According to her, God is punishing them for their sins. They're being struck down one by one. Alex is the one to stand up to her sudden change of behavior. He thinks it's odd she's saying all this, due to him thinking she's a harlot. Yet she retains her religious stance, getting more emotional with it. To refute her, Alex says Tracy was studying to be a kindergarten teacher. She was also a devout Catholic. This does not sway Amelia. She tells him that Tracy's sins are known solely to her and God. The hot-headed Alex wants to respond with violence. He's the kind of man who must think violence is sometimes the answer. So Amelia decides to pray, while Alex goes to cool off. This fighting is not making their situation any better. With the way things are unfolding, Jack is getting hungry for information as to what is going on. But his hunger will be hard to satiate. Ella comes to him so they can both receive comfort in this tense time. She says things will get worse. It doesn't take long for them to realize they want to eat. Once the group starts going to the kitchen, we see Sam's hand bleeding for some reason. He takes out a piece of glass from his palm. In the kitchen, they look for whatever food they can prepare. Unfortunately, there is no rest for them, for even at a time like this, Amelia suddenly disappears. All that had to be done is for Charlotte to open the refrigerator door to block Amelia from her sight. Of course, their hunger vanishes just like Amelia, and panic takes its place. Sam in particular has had enough. He steals Alex's gun, wielding it to demand to leave. His friend tries taking it from him, though he gets shot near the shoulder, possibly by mistake. Sam's hands shake as he demands that Jack give him the keys to the car. While Jack hands over the keys, Charlotte takes them. Afterward, Sam takes her hand to take her away with him. When the couple runs out, we focus on Alex suffering from his wound. Jack is forced to chase the couple, but they are already riding away. For some reason, the car doesn't get too far. Claire is there with Jack, shocked to find Snow there. The duo slowly walks to the stopped car. Jack opens the door to find a scared Charlotte sitting there with no Sam. Just the gun is on the driver's seat. Alex then comes to take her out, threatening the poor girl in the snow. He demands to know what happened. At this moment, we should remember this is how our story began. Alex starts choking her until Jack punches him away. Alone together, with the anger diminished, Alex tells his puncher they are not allowed to leave this place. He thinks they will all meet their end there. Jack strengthens that conjecture by saying the car keys disappeared with Sam. Alex laughs, because the gun is still there. Soon he discovers that it hurts to laugh with his wound. Inside the cabin, Ella says he's lucky the bullet didn't go through him. Jack learns that Charlotte is unresponsive due to the shock of what she observed. Claire talks about the weirdness of the weather dropping about 50 degrees in the last few hours. Will the survivors be able to make sense of this chaos before all of them vanish? Then Jack goes upstairs with Ella. She lies in bed while he sits nearby. The tough man finally breaks down to cry. Once she comes to him, he says he is fine. However, it certainly doesn't appear that way. Shortly after, they start being intimate, both cheating on their vanished partners. When they're done, Jack tells her he's never been this scared in his life. He can neither stop nor control the situation. He doesn't want to meet his demise there. Ella tells him they might. Since he keeps his eyes off her long enough, the lady vanishes. This scares him off the bed, like it scared Amelia from her chair. Following this, he comes downstairs to join the gang, informing Claire that Ella is gone. In a few seconds, they hear some knocking sounds on the front door and get startled by them. Alex wakes up on the couch to get scared by it too. Jack slowly approaches the door to open it, while Alex points his gun in that direction. Opening it shows that it's Noah. Alex rudely asks him where he was. He brings the reappeared man inside, where he keeps pointing the gun at him. Noah says he thinks he fell into a ditch. Interestingly, he said he thinks it, meaning he does not know exactly what took place. Alex is not buying that answer. He demands that Noah sits. At this point, Alex doesn't know if Noah is even a person. Once the man under pressure says he's Noah, Alex gives several different choices of what he could be instead. He could even be a demon, for all Alex knows. Nothing is out of the question, given what they went through. Noah is forced to ask them what is it they think he might have done. He doesn't get his answer. What he gets is protection from Claire, her telling Alex he can't shoot Noah. But Alex gets aggressive with her too. Noah asks for Ella, because she will know it's him. Alex now asks for her whereabouts too. Jack's slight shaking of his head makes Alex learn she is gone. He gets even more upset. Noah yells, causing Alex to slam him in the stomach. The hothead thinks Noah knows where the vanished group is. Claire keeps defending the man, urging Alex to stop hurting him. Yet Alex doesn't play nice. He never read that rule book. He gets back to squeezing information out of Noah. Since he's getting zero of it, he resorts to shooting the man's knee. So he keeps demanding that Noah educates him. After being shot in the knee, he still says he knows nothing. Perhaps he ought to be trusted now. But Alex is in too deep to cancel his fierce modus operandi. He shoots Noah's other knee. Even Jack has to tell him to stop. This prompts Alex to be direct with Jack. He humiliates him for not having the courage to get answers, like Alex does. He comes back to Noah to start dragging him out of the cabin, leaving a messy trail of blood. He doesn't want this unknown man there with them. Upon closing him outside, Noah pleads to be let back in. It takes several seconds for his pleas to become substituted by silence. With that, Alex learns that Noah was a human after all. Claire rhetorically asks Alex what he did. He just lights a cigarette, telling her it doesn't matter. He clarifies that they will all disappear, and everything they have done will go with them. Therefore, it doesn't matter what he did. He also says if he ends them all, it still would not matter. They will all be erased. What makes him sad is that everyone who disappeared didn't even leave a spot of blood behind. Alex wants them to know he was there, before he suddenly uses his gun to end. Claire cannot hold herself from crying. About 1 minute passes before the recently deceased vanishes. Not only that, but all his blood is gone too. So the man lost his life for nothing. No one will find drops of his blood either. He could have still tried to keep going. Maybe he could have survived. Though the terror of imagining where one goes when one vanishes might be too much of a burden. It could be a place worse than lifelessness. The phone then rings, to somewhat cut the tension. Jack answers it, saying they are no longer taking reservations. Claire takes it from him to dial 911. Miraculously, she is allowed to talk to a real operator, telling them where she is. After the call, she tells Jack the good news that personnel are coming for them. The bad news is that it will take them 3 hours to get there. Jack can't hold back his tears, because that's a long time. Comforting him, Claire says all they have to do is watch each other. That sounds doable, even for 3 hours. The problem with that plan is that the lights unexpectedly go out. It's like it happened on purpose. Of course, panic ensues. Jack doesn't let their hope dwindle by saying he's searching for a light. Soon enough, he collects a match to light several candles. Claire walks over to Charlotte to give the unresponsive girl a candle to hold. The two remaining active individuals sit on the floor facing each other near their candle. For some reason, they are not keeping such a focused eye on Charlotte. The poor girl could disappear. Claire tells him what he told Ella earlier, that she's never been this scared in her life. He changes the topic to saying Tracy is pregnant. She didn't know that he knew, yet he found her test. He was waiting for her to tell him. The moment she would have is the moment he would have given her an engagement ring. Jack shows Claire the ring he brought with him. She can only reply that she's sorry things did not turn out that way. She just wants to know why this is happening. He's not sure if he cares anymore. Jack just wants it to end. He also hates the anticipation of waiting to disappear. After a few more personal exchanges, she whispers that she has to tell him something, though he has to promise not to laugh. The secret is that she needs to use the toilet. Instead of him laughing, she does, but her dominant emotion is still sadness. In the next scene, they're in the washroom. Charlotte is there with them, telling them with a soft voice she will go away. Attempting to stop her, they fail. The young lady vanishes into the darkness. This makes Claire shut the door in fear. The duo now stands before the mirror, and Claire tells him not to blink. As time goes by, the candles get smaller. They use their effort to stay awake, yet their tiredness becomes too hard to deal with. We see how Jack falls into the darkness behind him. She panics that he's gone. At least he doesn't have to anticipate it anymore. After that, Claire hears sirens, which cause her to run out of the washroom. Daylight is now among her. The terrified survivor runs out of the cabin to greet an impressive assortment of first responders. She's so grateful that she hugs the closest policeman to her. Then some seemingly classified people exit a car, dressed in black. The main one says they have to do a certain sweep and leave. Sitting in the back seat of a police car, Claire gets approached by that main official, asking the lady if anyone else is with her. She just shakes her head, telling him not to blink. He responds that he never does. There in the car, Claire has a moment to retreat into herself. While she does, everything falls into a very uncomfortable silence. Even the radio static disappears. She sits up to see that everyone has vanished. During such a hopeless time, she remembers Alex's words about how all of them will vanish. When she closes her eyes, she vanishes too.